We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
What it do, you number one podcast listeners? You have tuned in to a brand new edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. I'm your host, Premal Bhatt, and this episode, I'm joined by my cousin, Roshan. Rosh, thanks for joining me on this one, bud.
What's up, man? Glad to be here. We ready. It hasn't even been that long, but it feels like it's been a long time. So let's make it count.
All right, before we get started with this number one podcast in your headphones, you number one podcast listeners, let's do our sponsorship. This episode is sponsored by Sleep Battle, a boutique photo studio in Asbury Park, New Jersey. From cinematic stills, unique and classic wedding and elopement photos, even thub-stopping product or commercial photography like you see for the Prem Brulee brand, Sleep Battle is a full-service studio. So visit their Instagram or website at Sleep Battle, that's SLEEPATTLE, or sleepbattle.com, and treat your eyes to something nice. You already know, number one photographer
yes,
for the number one podcast in your headphone. All right, let's get it, man. So it's been a little while, but we got a lot to cover. So I really like the Yeah Fam or Nah, the word association, so we're going to keep that rolling. You dig it, Rush?
Yeah, fam, I do.
There we go. Let's get it. All right, so give me a word or a phrase to describe each of these. And first up, I thought it was right that we talk, Yeah Fam or Nah kicks off with NBA playoffs. So obviously we're in the conference finals. In the East, it is the top two seeds, the Heat and the Celtics. In the West, it was initially chalk, but the 3 and 4 seeds won their series. So that's Warriors and Mavs in the West. Just some notable teams eliminated, obviously that everybody knows by now, but the Brooklyn Villains, they are the only team to get swept in the opening round.
Petty alert.
I'm so sad about it, as you can tell. The defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, they were definitely impacted by Chris Middleton being hurt, so that probably played a major factor. And then the best record in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns, lost to the Mavs in the quarterfinal round, and then the Philadelphia 76ers also were eliminated. Joel Embiid had some bad injury luck as well. But your word, first of all, yeah, fam or not, and then give me a word to describe it.
Typically, this is my favorite time of the year, but this year is definitely a nah fam. And my word is lopsided. I just feel like there haven't been any good games in like fucking 2 weeks now going on. And just the teams that got eliminated, I was really rooting for, Giannis back-to-back. He kind of won me over big time last year, like in a huge way. So I was all in on Giannis, and that Chris Middleton injury. I mean, even now watching the playoffs and seeing how inconsistent these teams are, I think Giannis would have had that shit in the bag. Like, I think he would have gentleman sweeped the Celtics and probably swept the Heat and probably walked to the finals in 4 or 5 games. I wouldn't see a lot of teams. Every game against Boston was close, and that was with double, triple teams on Giannis. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, they took the Celtics to 7 games and easily could have. I mean, they just ran out of steam pretty much.
Yeah.
Worth noting, speaking of Giannis, he's the only. He was a unanimous NBA first team, got all 100 first team votes. So those just came out, but
yeah.
Anyway, my word or phrase for this is LNH. So I'm a nah to NBA playoffs. This is a good reminder that LeBron needs help, and now we have another one that's Luka needs help. So
Luka does need
Dallas
help.
Mavericks better start building a team around that man before he leaves.
Yep.
So LNH is my word for that.
Great. What a callback too.
A nice callback. Maybe we add in a GNH just to...
Giannis also needed a lot of help. He couldn't
he needed more than he got.
Yeah, get one of those role players to buy a shot in that series.
When you got Brook Lopez playing big minutes,
yeah.
You got some issues.
Brook Lopez and Grayson Allen, man. Jesus.
Yeah. He's a stand-up player. Great tactics on the court. Grayson Allen. All right, let's stick in the NBA.
All right.
The NBA draft lottery. So the NBA is unique in this that they determine the draft order in the upcoming draft with a lottery system, as we all probably aware of. The results of that just happened. The Orlando Magic secured the number 1 pick. They had the second best odds, which, if you remember in the last couple years, I think the bottom 3 teams have the same odds, but Orlando is the second worst team. So they went up from number 2 to get the number 1 spot. Worth noting, they've had a couple other first overall picks. Man by the name of Shaquille O'Neal, you might have heard of him. And then their other number 1 pick in history was, I think it was the subsequent year, if not the year after Shaq got drafted. The Magic got the number 1 pick again, and they used it on Chris Webber. But that Chris Webber was then traded for Penny Hardaway. That one worked out pretty well for them too.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the order. The Magic got the first overall pick. They were up from the number 2 best odds. Oklahoma City went up from number 4 to get the number 2 pick. The Rockets had the worst record, but they were stuck with the number 3 pick. The biggest jump was the Sacramento Kings. They were up from number 7. They had the 7th best odds to get the top seed, and they actually got up into the top 4. And then the Detroit Pistons went down from 3 and are the 5th overall pick. So the biggest shakeup was the Sacramento Kings. Those that are nerds like me, a couple years ago when they changed the odds, the other thing they determined was basically they draw almost like lottery balls. They used to only do the top 3 picks, and everybody just filed in after that. With that odds change, they actually draw numbers for the top 4 picks. So that's why you see the Kings go up from 7 to 4. Anyway, so you got Magic, Thunder, Rockets, Kings, and Pistons. Roshan, I know you're a big college basketball fan, but figure for the number 1 podcast listeners that aren't big college basketball fans, this upcoming draft does have a consensus top 3 in the draft. However, the jury's out on who is the best of the 3, and I personally don't think you can go wrong. They're pretty good at different things.
Yeah.
Those top 3 are Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, top recruit. He lived up to it, did very well. Jabari Smith from Auburn had a phenomenal season. And Paolo Banchero from Duke, who is very versatile, tall, can handle the ball, shoot, drive, defend. So there isn't a consensus number 1 out there, but those are the 3 names you probably will hear go 1, 2, and 3 in some order. So, what do you got? You fam to this? And give me a word for it.
I think the only reason I'm a fam is because the Rockets have a top 3 pick. I think that's so. My word's going to be exciting. I caught a few games this year, more than I feel like when the Harden years were on, like I got real tired of his shit at the end of the time, and I caught a lot more Rockets games this year than ever before. And every single game I watched, they lost, but they were very competitive. So they were tanking the way you need teams to tank. Like they weren't just getting blown out. But Jalen Green and like some of these young guys, man, you add one of these 3 guys, it's going to be a fun team to watch. So it's pretty exciting.
This is the year I know the Rockets had the worst record, so you want to get the number 1 pick. But it's not a bad spot to be in to just wind up with whoever's left.
Let them fall to you. Let them fall to you, and then there's no pressure on you. So if the guy stinks, if you end up with like Chet Holmgren and he stinks, you're going to be like, all right, well, we were going to take him regardless. So and you can always be like, well, I was going to take Paulo. I was going to take Patrick Mahomes. Did you see that video of that guy who was interviewing Paulo and was like, hey, Patrick. At
the F1 race.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I do think each of them still fits with Jalen Green. Like, no matter who you wind up with, it should be fine. In that young of a team, and no matter what, they're so young. It's like you can kind of build pieces around them afterwards.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm a fam to this, and I would say my word for this is nerd. I'm a draft nerd, so I eat this up. And I know the NFL draft is big for a lot of people, but the NBA draft is pretty fun too. It's just really accessible. It's just one night. There's only 2 rounds, so it moves pretty quickly. And I think especially this year, because March Madness was back and so many people tuned in, kind of after having 2 weird seasons, one without a tournament and one with the tournament without fans. People are anxious to, watch.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of pretty big names. So I think it should be a pretty fun draft. But I love the top 3. My personal top player, I think, for me is Banchero. I've just seen him play, and I think his game translates really well to the NBA. He's like exactly where the NBA is heading. He's super versatile player. I think I'm kind of biased because I've watched him more than the other 2.
Sure.
You can't really go wrong, but I think I like his game the most as far as like immediate translation. Holmgren might be the biggest upside. Same with Smith. He has a lot of development there, so you can get a lot out of him. But it's an exciting draft. I'm with it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I had to talk about this. This kind of dominated airwaves. But this Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher saga. So a little background, you number one podcast listeners, in case you're not looking for college football news, because I think we're officially under 100 days out, but you may not be in that vibe yet. Recently, at a speaking engagement on May 18th, Nick Saban said that Texas A&M, quote, bought every player, end quote, in its highly regarded 2022 recruiting class. Texas A&M had the number 1 recruiting class this past year, and I'm assuming it's no coincidence that it has to do with the NIL that is now available to football players. But nonetheless, Saban, this is the first time Saban has mentioned a school by name. He's hinted a lot of times, but never outright said it. In that same, I think it was like a 7-minute answer to a question, he also called out Jackson State. And that's you may know this is a HBCU football program led by Coach Deion Sanders. Yes, that Deion Sanders. He said, quote, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year who was a really good Division I player to come to their school. It was in the paper and they bragged about it. No one did anything about it, end quote. This was no doubt likely referring to former Florida State commit Travis Hunter Jr. He was the number 1 prospect in the 2022 recruiting class. You may or may not remember that he stunned football in general in December's early signing period when he decided to decommit from the Seminoles and sign with Jackson State. Coach Prime called it a lie, while Hunter, who's on Twitter at Travis Hunter Jr., tweeted the following: I got $1 million, but my mom's still staying in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. Laughing emoji.
So congratulations, you played yourself.
You knew it was going to be good when Jimbo Fisher the very next day called an emergency press conference. You just knew something was brewing. So he called Saban a narcissist and said of him, quote, some people think they're God. Worth noting, Jimbo Fisher was Saban's offensive coordinator when Nick Saban coached at LSU from 2000 to 2004. Fisher practically laughed off his former boss's assertion that there's always been parity in college football, and NIL threatens to undermine that. Quote, he's the greatest ever, huh? When you've got all the advantages, it's easy. End quote.
It's the pretty boys versus the petty
both
boys.
Saban and Fisher were reprimanded by the SEC conference. I don't know what that even means by them, but whatever. Saban's historically hinted at schools where it's like, oh, it's pretty obvious he's talking about Georgia or A&M, but he's never flat out named schools before. A lot of Nick Saban defenders believe that his comments were more of a warning to his own boosters in Alabama to basically step it up or they're going to get passed. But not exactly the way you want to direct those that question. Obviously, the day after Jimbo Fisher's press conference, Saban tried to walk back his comments and do damage control to no avail. I think he said something like, I tried to reach out to Jimbo, but he didn't answer. No freaking duh. But I am absolutely a yeah fam to this, and my word for this is juicy. I'm here for all of this. And by the way, you number one podcast listeners, Alabama plays Texas A&M on October 8th in Tuscaloosa, just for your information, in case you're wondering. Jimbo Fisher says he has nothing to say to Saban, so that it's going to be all eyes on that pregame powwow that coaches always do with their arms folded, and afterwards after the game. So, what you got for this, Rosh?
My word is fist fight. I don't care to hear from the oldest, richest men in college football. I don't care who argue. I don't care to hear them argue about who abuses the system more or whatever. Throw hands if you really bout it, Grandpa. Let's go. Put that shit on pay-per-view and let's do this thing fun. Let's really make some money. They'll make their year's salary in one night if they did that. That shit would be fun.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
I don't know. It's hard to ever side with Saban. I don't. He's lucky he's so good at what he does. Yeah, because he would have been out of the sport. He's such a whiner.
Losing is not a good look on him. It's always when he's losing too, and it's he just lost a final.
He doesn't even lose that often.
He really doesn't. But when he does, he loses spectacularly. All those memes that exist of him where he's we're not going to, so quit asking. He's been like this. Yeah. This is what he does. He's a sorest loser.
Very sore loser.
I gotta respect it though, man. Though. I gotta respect the sore loser. I mean, I'm a sore loser, so I don't know what I'm complaining about.
I get it. It's just a bad look when you've won so much. It's different when you're a sore loser when you really been through it.
For sure.
What the hell do you have to complain about?
Yeah.
He had the number 2 recruiting class. It's you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that wraps up our fam or nah. And you already know what time it is, you number one podcast listeners. Your favorite section, my favorite section.
Yes, sir.
But not our blood pressure's favorite section. Let's hit that intro, baby.
I'm petty as hell. And I'm super petty. Here we Petty Le Pew.
Go. Here we go.
All right, you number one podcast listeners, it's time for You Played Yourself. And we got a doozy here. We got to come correct with You Played Yourself. As usual, it's on brand. So, first up on You Played Yourself, I got to give it to one of the guys we mentioned before, but another also. You Played Yourself goes to Devin Booker and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Listen, first of all, let me run this clip as a preempter.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
That's right. You shouldn't have been talking shit. So, Devin Booker mocked Luka Doncic after the Suns' Game 5 win over the Mavs. He stayed on the ground after a drive to the hoop that led to a foul. He called it the Luka special, and cameras caught it. Then the Suns proceeded to not show up for Game 6 or 7 and left the playoffs early despite having the best regular season record. Before I get your thoughts on this, the Giannis part of this. Giannis stared down Al Horford after a big dunk in Game 4 versus the Celtics. The Celtics then proceeded to come back and tie the series, and then eventually won in 7 games. You might think, oh, that's a little early to be you played yourself. But had the Bucks closed out that game, they would have went up 3-1. And we all know the only team that comes back from 3-1 is LeBron James' team. So
what it do, baby?
You Played Yourself goes to Booker and Giannis. Run that clip again, baby.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
What you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with either of those. I gotta throw Chris Paul in the mix too, man.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I've been kind of rooting for him. I know a lot of people hate him, but he in the playoffs historically, this guy's seen a lot of bad luck come his way. As a Rockets fan, none worse than 2019 when he hurt his hammy and all that happened, and had to watch Warriors, blah blah blah. But man, he has zero excuses for this one, man. He was just a ghost in that series. I don't know what happened to him. It's he didn't look like himself, honestly. He wasn't shooting the ball. He wasn't really facilitating well. He just turned into he actually looked like his age, and I was like, damn, is it time for him to retire? But I was like, I know he just played a great season, so I don't know what happened to him in this playoffs, but I hope they get it together. I hope they honestly just pull a trade or somehow and get CP on LeBron's team, because I can't watch another year of Westbrook being on fucking LeBron's team.
I like your point about Chris Paul. It's like, I mean, he's a little bit polarizing, but I think like most people want to see him win.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like the Chris Paul haters are really loud.
Yeah.
But there's like different levels of being cool with
Yeah.
him.
You want to see the games like generational like players like win rings. Like you want to see Melo win a ring.
Yeah.
You want to see CP win a ring. I mean, if like D-Wade, LeBron, all these guys, Bosh, they've all won rings thanks to LeBron. Not Wade, obviously, but like it was so cool to watch J.R. Smith win a ring. So it's like, of course, it'd be amazing to watch CP win a ring. But yeah, you can't do what that Game 7, man. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Yeah, it didn't show up.
Fucking 40
I couldn't believe it.
Down 40 plus points on your home floor in a Game 7.
So,
and
congratulations.
Booker,
Yep.
speaking
You
of
played
Booker,
yourself.
he was quoted as being like, "There's nothing more exciting than a Game 7 on your home floor. That's why you play all year for." I'm like, bro, you had like 9 points. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe how much of a no-show it was.
He literally went missing after he talked that
It's
shit.
crazy.
And I mean, he's first team All NBA. You can't have that.
No.
You're the best team in the league all
Yeah.
year, and then you choose then to lay an egg. I mean,
Runaway best team
definite-
too. By like over 10 games, they were the best team. Like
it's the definition of not being clutch.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
And they have some questions. Like, they didn't take care of signing DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do with him? Do you let him walk? Do you try to sign and trade? I mean, Chris Paul wants to stay. What do you do with that situation?
Yeah.
I mean, the Suns are close, so you would think, I'm sure most fans want to run it back because they were the best team in the regular season for a reason. Like, was it just a fluke that they sucked?
It had to have been because they had so much depth too. Like that, every time I just like look at their roster, I'm like, dude, how did they lose? Like they have like four premier defenders on that team. Yeah, they were built for playoff success.
Very smart. Yeah, I mean, I would be inclined. I don't think Ayton's going to do a prove-it deal, though. So
hell no, he's getting his money.
Yeah,
what they should do is trade for Christian Wood. Trade Rockets for Christian Wood. Christian Wood fits the Suns perfectly. Give him a stretch 4, play 5. Dude can shoot threes.
Ayton's been good. He handled his business.
Yeah.
You didn't hear a thing from him. He was high percentage, so I don't know. I mean, they spent a first overall pick, and you would think they want to hold on to their talent, especially since they should have been closer. But anyway, maybe that's for another time. Your comment about their Game 7 is a perfect segue. NBA playoffs, you played yourself for margin of victory. You brought this to my attention. This came a tweet from Justin Fan. It's JPhanned, JPHANNED on Twitter. He broke down the margin of victory in the last 17 playoff games. The smallest margin of victory besides one 3-point game is like
9.
one 6-point game and a whole bunch of 9-point games. Other than that, you have a 20-point, two 25-point victories, a 33-point, a 28-point victory, a 27. There's a 39, a 30, and a 35-point victory. So all these numbers average to a margin of victory of 19.8 points. This tweet also said there's been a total of 7 clutch time minutes, just 7, in 17 playoff games, in the last 17 playoff games.
Yeah. And all 7 of those minutes were probably in one of those Bucks Celtics games.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
It had to be. Or maybe all of them were from those games.
Yeah.
I mean, these playoffs haven't been very exciting, at least late in this conference round. I mean, it just seems like blowout after blowout. So you played yourself to us. There's a reason why people think it's the most boring playoffs is the NBA. It's because of things like this.
Yep.
And this is in a year where last couple of years been great parity.
Yeah.
So I feel like it shouldn't be like this, but here we are.
You know the playoffs are bad when, if you count the last weeks of game, the number one highlight is an Andrew Wiggins dunk. Like, we fucked up, man. Yeah. Someone fucked up. That ain't right.
Petty alert. Petty alert.
We got,
Petty alert.
We got work to do next year. Maple Jordan, yeah. Jesus.
Previously Maple Joe Rogan. Anyway. All right. You got one for us this episode, Rosh?
I do, man. The next You Played Yourself goes to me as a person who came onto this podcast, the number one podcast in your headphones, and just whined and bitched and cried about losing Carlos Correa. When he signed with the Twins, I was
also guilty.
I was going through it, man. I was like feeling my feels. I was like, I can't believe this guy walked, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe we're letting a rookie just take the reins on a team that went to the World Series. And here we are. Jeremy Pena is, he's leading the field for AL Rookie of the Year. This kid is special, man. I've gone to Minute Maid twice this year, and he's awesome to watch. He just has a lot of joy. He honestly reminds his player comp would be Carlos Correa. It's hilarious. Like James Click knew something that everybody else didn't know, and if he pans out, and they saved $40 million a year, then Godspeed. Good shit. He's currently on pace for like the highest single season WAR in Astros history. I saw this on a tweet by MLB Metrics. Highest single season WAR in Astros history. Like Biggio's been here, Bagel's been here, Altuve had an MVP season here. Like that's stupid, man. That's not even a rookie stat. Like this dude's defense is very elite. He sees the box well. And for a guy who only played 30 games in AAA, man, I can't speak highly enough of him. But yeah. That Pena power, baby. Let's get it. So You played yourself to Houston Astros fans, and mainly me as a spokesperson.
Yeah. Go Stros alert.
No, go Stros. No one's safe. No one's safe.
No one's safe. Yeah, we got to be fair to ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Let's stay in baseball here. I got to do You Played Yourself to Yankees third baseman Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson called the Chicago White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson Jackie, reference to Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Just joined the Yankees this year, I believe. Donaldson's been suspended one game and plans to appeal. Just a quick background. Anderson took offense to the comment, as did much of his team. White Sox manager Tony La Russa used that exact term, stating that they interpreted it as racist. Donaldson, after the game on Saturday, acknowledged calling Anderson Jackie. It's a reference to Jackie Robinson, who broke the Major League Baseball's color barrier in 1947. He called Anderson that in the first inning. The Yankees third baseman apologized, saying he meant no disrespect. Donaldson claims that he has joked with Anderson in the past, as it references a 2019 interview that Anderson did with Sports Illustrated, in which he described himself as feeling like, quote, today's Jackie Robinson, in how he's getting to a point where I need to change the game, end quote. Apparently, Donaldson, just from follow-up anecdotes, isn't a super popular guy in locker rooms he's been in the teams he's played for. But all that aside, I mean, I know you didn't mean disrespect, but you don't get to decide how people can or should take things you say.
Mm-hmm.
Donaldson's explanation is horseshit because it really doesn't matter. Just because you meant no disrespect doesn't mean Anderson can't feel disrespected. It's like saying, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole and then proceeding to say something that's an asshole comment.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you, like, reprieve from saying whatever the fuck you want. And it's clear it wasn't interpreted as a joke, so I also don't get the appeal of a one-game suspension. Frankly, it doesn't seem like enough because in the world we're in today, there's no room for that shit.
He's a Yankee, man. That's why.
Like, you guys aren't close.
Yeah.
It's clear you're not close. So you joking with the dude, it's not working for him. So why would you continue to do it?
Yeah.
The logic doesn't make sense, but even beyond that, you have an explanation for it, whether you're right or wrong, whatever. That's not how he took it. So just apologize and shut the fuck up. I don't get this concept that we struggle so much with here. Like, it doesn't matter how you meant it.
Yeah.
It wasn't interpreted that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, in any sense, you didn't mean to say something hurtful. Someone interpreted it hurtful. Either you are sorry for it or you're not. But don't don't give me an excuse for it.
Right.
We don't need it.
And it's just, it's crazy because it's like, you know, I like that you brought up that he was like, he's not been popular in his locker rooms, and he's been in like 7 of them, man. Like, this guy's been hopping teams, and especially in the last, 5 years as a veteran, like, these guys are just, he's getting traded, he's getting, you know, cut, well, not cut, but like, you know, traded and all this stuff. And my thing with him and this whole fallout was like, he just refused to apologize. Like, just fucking apologize. I meant no disrespect is not an apology. Like, just be like, I'm sorry it was disrespectful. It's the same probably amount of words. You could have said it a lot less. You might not have even gotten suspended. You just, you were so unapologetic. You were doubling down, and now you're appealing. So you're tripling down on this. And it's just like, Tim Anderson was already like, there ain't no inside jokes with us. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, you don't have inside jokes with people you don't get along with. Like, I don't. Do you? Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, like, I mean,
and they aren't gonna lean towards anything to do with race.
It's ridiculous.
Or anything comparing a guy to literally someone who changed the entire face of baseball.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, he called himself that first. I'm like, bro, this argument. So my goodness, man.
How many times has this sort of argument been made? Also, for any other.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll leave it at that.
It was. The more Josh Donaldson talked, the more I was like, this guy's a racist. Like, every time he said something else, I'm like, he's fucking racist.
Yeah.
Fucking clown. Super clown.
He was like a statement away from hitting the bingo card. But.
I know. Yeah, for real. Well, I'm happy you followed up an Astros. You played yourself with the Yankees. You played yourself. That always makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's all about balance, you know.
Yeah.
Big time balance. We gotta. It still goes Stros over here, you know. So
we'll see you in the ALCS.
So before I kind of get it to a lighter mood, I felt like we'd be doing a disservice. You know, we talk about some serious things on here, so wanted to real quick have you and I talk about the yet another school shooting that happened this time in your state. It sucks that we have to say yet another, and this time it's in this location.
Right.
But this one was in Uvalde at Robb Elementary, I believe it's called, where I've seen multiple reports. I think it's 14 students. I've seen upwards of 18 students died by a gunman, and at least one teacher died. You know, I'm going to go ahead and go first because obviously you number one podcast listeners know you know, I'm a new dad, and my son's not going to school yet. You don't need to be a parent to feel things about this, but also my wife's a teacher, and school's supposed to be the safest possible place you could ever send a kid. It's supposed to be welcoming. You're not supposed to fear for your life going to school. And I just can't figure out why we're still doing this time and time again. Literally nothing is changing besides the solution is to prepare kids or to prepare teachers to run drills.
Yep.
Why should it be their job to have to protect themselves from fear of death while they're at the previously safest possible place you can go, instead of just doing the common sense thing and addressing the root of the problem, which is the astronomically too easy access of guns and automatic guns and every type of gun and no background check, nothing. How many times can we see people go to regular places where they should not feel at risk? Places like a grocery store in Buffalo, places like school in Texas, school after school, and we see people die just going on a regular errand or doing their running their daily lives and not coming home to their families. How many times can we see this? It's impossible to me. It's like we're banging our heads against the wall watching this happen over and over again. And there are certain politicians that all they want to offer is thoughts and prayers. All they want to offer is doing just silly half-assed solutions like arming teachers or having armed security at schools, instead of just saying, you know what, maybe I shouldn't take this astronomical donation from the NRA and maybe I should vote how my constituents want. Because the fact of the matter is, political party aside, a vast majority of people in this country want common sense gun reform.
Yeah.
They want background checks. They don't want access to these automatic weapons that you see in the military. Most people, regardless of party affiliation, want that.
Yep.
And yet here we have at least half of the Congress that won't even vote for the common sense gun reform. So at this point, it's like we're numb to it, but we can't be numb to it because we can't possibly just chalk this up to another school shooting because those are innocent kids that didn't get to go home to their parents. It's the end of the school year. They're probably making plans for their summer vacations, playing with their friends, all that stuff. And then something like this happens. So, I sense the frustration, but don't let that frustration, you number one podcast listeners out there, don't let that frustration numb you because that's when we just are doing nothing. And I know it feels like we can't do anything, but there is something you can do, and that's vote. I know everybody says it, and some of these things, you number one podcast listeners out there, I don't know if any of you are out there that are conservative. I know you have your beliefs, but some of this stuff is bigger than that. There has to be something done about these politicians taking money from places like the NRA and in exchange go against what their constituents are telling them. Our one possible action at this point, it seems, is to vote those people out. And it's as simple as that, because I don't think we should have to see this happen. Nobody does, obviously, but time after time after time. And you can't say that there are no solutions. You can't chalk it up to anything else because other countries aren't having the same problem as us. They're not blaming it on mental health. They're not blaming it on all. They made reform. We're the only ones that don't. So by definition, we've tried your thoughts and prayers already. There's been enough of a sample size to show that your thoughts and prayers aren't working. And it's time for something else. For crying out loud, it is time for something else. Because no teacher, no kid, no person going to the grocery store, nothing. You shouldn't have to fear for your life. You shouldn't have to be prepared to defend yourself in a place that's supposed to be the safest ever, that's supposed to garner growth and make you into a positive impact on the society. Yet we're doing all these things to protect the wrong things in our society. So anyway, I know I went on a long thing, but I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know what else to do, but I'll leave you with just vote.
Yeah, well said, man. Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, man. This is in Texas, like 200 miles from the crib, so it's pretty close to the vest. It's weird just seeing the news and seeing all the stuff about Texas. I've never heard of that city, so I had to look it up, and I was like, wow, it's pretty damn close. It's a 3-hour drive for me right now. So I agree with every point you hit on. At the end of the day, this is a humanitarian issue. I don't think this is a political party issue, but it continues to show itself as one, and it continues to be presented as one with politicians and stuff. And that's what I'm truly tired of, because it has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Because it's like, man, these kids, if you're in elementary school, no one's above the age of 10 that's a kid there. Every one of those 14 plus kids that died is under 10 years old. That puts knots in your stomach. That's gross. That ain't right.
No, it's not. So, the one thing you and I leave the number one podcast listeners out there with is every fiber in your being is telling you to be numb to this and move on. Try not to. These things are important, and they gotta they got to be in the face of your elected officials. And if none of your elected officials are doing anything about it, it's time to get new elected officials. So just keep that in mind as voting happens. Just no excuse for this. No matter, it's like you said, no political parties here. This is about people living, just doing ordinary things and not coming home to their families.
For sure.
There's nothing political about that. Anyway. Okay. Before, let's bring it back to something light to finish up. You played yourself. You know, I never want to shy away from difficult subjects. So, you know, you and I texted and wanted to touch on that a little.
For sure.
So appreciate you bringing that up, and appreciate you number one podcast listeners for indulging us here. Okay. On a lighter note, let's finish up. You played yourself. You know, I've been trying to mix in ones that are non-sports related. I got a lot of hot takes and opinions on things, so I figured this is the appropriate avenue. I got a couple candidates for immediate retirement, and they all need to be put on official notice if you played yourself. First up, and you tell me if you agree with these and if you have any to add after this. Okay, first up, if you know, you know. Usually caption and the abbreviation IYKYK needs to be retired. Next up, Frye. Are we serious about this? Instead of day, we're saying yay? Stop it. Enough. Next up on this list, okay. Fellas, this one's directed more towards you. If you find yourself with either of these combos, you should have been done with these. First up on this is jeans with a sport coat or blazer. Stop yourselves before you even start. Nobody needs the dad traveler uniform here, okay? Just quit it. Chances are you got other pants to wear. At least put on some damn khakis. And none of you are about to tell me that jeans are that comfortable anyway for us dudes, so just quit it. Next up, I just saw this we were on a family walk and I saw this dad rocking pants with the thong flip-flops.
Ouch.
Stop, guys. Never. You're wearing pants, closed-toe shoes, guys. Let's keep it there. We don't need anything else. Unless you got those snap or sweatpants and you just walking out to get your mail or some shit. You're not going out in public in that look. So let's quit that. I mean, borderline, you shouldn't have a use for thong flip-flops, but I get it. Some people at the beach like them, whatever. Like, get yourself some slides.
The beach is the only place you need to wear those. I have no reason to believe that they're at all functional in any other capacity. This man that triggered this thought process in you was having a family walk, is what I'm gathering.
No, we were on a family walk. We lived near a school, and this guy was like walking with his family, and he had like jeans and just like dressed pretty nice.
But he was out and about though, right?
That look.
He was out and about.
He was out and about.
That's fucked up, sure. Man. That's not right, bro. Think of the foot support, man. As an old man, as a dad, you should be concerned about your foot support. You're not getting anything with flip flops.
Exactly.
Get some Crocs. Get some Crocs.
You thought he know. Amen. Comfort on the feet, heat in the street, baby. Okay, bonus one. This is something that's on the brink of extinction, and that's the gritty. Folks out there, I think it's time we preeminently retire the gritty. It's in real danger right now. You know, it hasn't been killed to the point y'all did the dab, but I'm trying to prevent a crime here. So please don't play yourselves and let me see a video of you trying to gritty, because no, you did not nail it no matter how much you tried. Just look at Dan Orlovsky doing it and just basically put your head on it, because that's the best you'll do, and it still doesn't look good.
We're an Ellen gritty away from having a real conversation.
100%.
Once Ellen does it, you guys are going to have to stop. So you might as well do it on your own terms.
Might as well
do it on your own terms. Yep. Go out with some dignity.
Yep.
But once Ellen does it, remember when Hillary Clinton hit that dab? It ruined us. Done. It ruined us. So just stop it now.
Yeah, stop. Trust me, you're not doing it correctly. And before y'all ask, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are grandfathered in. They can't kill what they made hype in the first place, but the rest of y'all stop.
Facts.
My friend Deontay had me clarify that. I said, that makes sense because the people that made it cool can't necessarily kill it. It's the rest of you who try to think you could look as cool as them doing it. So
this is true.
Like, let those LSU boys keep that.
Yes.
All right. You got to need to add to this list. Immediate retirement. This is going to be a running list, you number one podcast listeners. So
as far as like phrases, I know you started with some phrases, but I did a thing is one of the worst.
So bad.
I've seen females say I did a thing and post a picture of their newborn child, and I'm just like, you did not do this. You didn't go here. No. You can't do this. You can't get away. You know that Jesse Pinkman? I need you to cue that clip up.
You can't keep getting away with this. You can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah. Why? Like, they bought a new house. I did a thing. No, you saved money for a long time, and you put a down payment on a house, and you did a house, and you got a house. You didn't do a thing. Stop it. Cut that shit out. And then, this one is going to hurt me because I pride myself on not having boomer traits, but my boomer trait right now is hating the Gen Z phrase, it's giving blank. I don't know how to use it properly in context because I am above 30 years old. So unfortunately, I cannot use an example. But let's say I'm wearing a hat and they're like, it's giving New York Yankee or some shit like that. I just don't understand why this phrase is clever or cute or any of this shit. Like, that shit has got to stop. And I'll have to get back to you on the fashion no-nos. But, okay. the definitely the thong flip-flops and pants is a huge one for me.
Hell no, yeah. I know, like, I feel like my hatred for jeans and a blazer is, like, controversial because a lot of people probably have family members that they might have like family members wearing it while they're traveling for work right now. Yeah. And we've all seen it. But yeah. I just think like,
sorry, Dad.
Jeans aren't. Yeah. I know my dad's probably been guilty of it too, like I hope not though. Yeah. He's been dressing more fly lately. Yeah. So I got to give my pops credit for that. Yeah. But there's never a situation where you're like, what would go great with this blazer is a pair of jeans. Like, there's
a pair of relaxed fit jeans, baby.
Yeah, it's never on the hierarchy. Yeah. Because, like, you can't tell me those are comfortable either. I mean, I know I don't even own jeans anymore, but that's besides the point. And jeans have their place, just not with the blazer.
Fact.
Don't give me that. Yeah. I know some of you might have been to a wedding where they wore jeans. Hell no. Get the fuck out of here with that. You number one podcast listeners, hit me up. Do you guys have any candidates for immediate retirement? I want to hear them. I also want to hear if you think I'm wrong about these. I don't think I am. It seems like you agree with me, Rosh.
No, I'm with you. But if someone gets in your DMs and tells you you're wrong, we might have to hit them with the block.
So, congratulations.
They got some issues.
And I need some real proof on why, because
yes,
you can't just hit me with no, I don't.
If you have a counter argument to, like, let's say you have a counter argument to pants with thong flip flops, I need you to post a picture of you pulling off a fire fit with that exact combination, or your argument will not be accepted from the congregation. Sorry, there are rules to this.
You can't delete that shit. Yeah, no. When you inevitably get roasted,
100%.
You got to
put that shit on your feed like you mean it. Say it with your chest.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, you number one podcast listeners, I want to hear from you. What are your candidates for immediate retirement? I want to hear them. There might be things I'm missing, but I need to hear them. All right, let's move on to who you got and what you feeling, Rush.
Let's do it. That was actually really tame. You played yourself, man. I gotta say, I think whatever, why, man? It's because there was like remorseful Astros and no Cowboys. Yeah. So that might be the formula. So what I need to do is,
don't worry,
what I need to do is doubt the Astros, continue to doubt the Astros, say they are not going to win the World Series, and then when they do win the World Series, I can come on here and apologize for it. And same thing with the Cowboys. Right. Just be like, you guys do whatever you want. You guys suck. Yeah. Nothing. And then when they come back and win some playoff games, you're gonna be like, guys, I'm sorry.
Man, Even you saying that sounds so far fetched.
That shit's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
they're gonna make a trade. The Astros are gonna make a trade at the trade deadline. Then I'm gonna be on here like cussing up a storm for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just know. I mean, no part of that. It would be like the best case scenario what you said about the Cowboys, but no part of that would hit because my ass isn't going to be able to contain myself this whole time.
Facts.
So anyway, that's why you're here, you number one podcast listeners.
Nope.
Let's not get it twisted. All right, who you got? What you feeling? Last episode, I did an NFL draft preview with Thomas. I'm gonna have him come back and discuss most of these. But I did want to highlight a few for you number one podcast listeners while the draft is fresh in your head. A few recaps that might catch your ears. First up, we talked about ranking QBs, but I asked Thomas over under 2.5 QBs taken in round 1. Thomas did take the over, and he was very wrong, just like a lot of us were. Only one quarterback was taken in round 1. That was Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh at 20. I asked him because the over-under for wide receivers taken in round 1 was 5.5, and Thomas said the over at 6, and he was correct. All those names I mentioned did go. London, Wilson, Olave, and Jameson Williams all went in like the top 13, and then there were a few other receivers that went in. I think they were all before like even the end of the first. Shout out to those 3 Buckeye receivers that went back to back to back. Those being Wilson, Olave, and then Jameson Williams.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. 10, 11, 12, they all went. Next one I wanted to talk about, most of these I'm going to save for later, but Thomas had a hot take that the Titans could take a quarterback, and they sure as hell did. They took Malik Willis, but it was not until round 3 at number 86 overall, but he did deliver on one of his hot takes. The other ones didn't, but that's why they're hot takes. I just felt like I had to point that out for number one podcast listeners. He did deliver on that one. And we'll talk about the others later, and maybe we'll do that into the season to see how they start panning out. One more thing. We talked about trades on draft day. We talked about Baker Mayfield, Deebo Samuel, and/or Kadarius Toney. None of those guys got traded, but a dark horse trade happened, and that was A.J. Brown was dealt to Philly on draft day, which was a major surprise. That also paved the way for the Titans to then take Burks, who's basically his comparison was A.J. Brown. So they replaced them because they weren't able to pay him, and now A.J. Brown is on the Eagles. So yay to the Cowboys.
Have fun with that one. That dude is a monster.
Yes. Yeah, should be fun. Okay. This week, I wanted to keep it short and simple here. I want to get your pick for NBA Finals winner, but it's a kind of a 3-parter. Who wins against who, and how many games, and who wins MVP? Who you got?
All right. Dallas will lose this series, probably in 5 games. I'm glad they're going out with some pride. My pick was Dallas initially. I was initially thinking they could pull it off in 7. I don't know what the fuck happened. Once again, LNH, Luka needs help. I just thought by
Honestly,
them.
I think that game 2 changed the whole course.
Yeah, that choke was huge, man. I had to watch that unfold, and it was pain. I literally thought the same thing. I was like, that was the series right there, because you can't go up. I mean, how many times have we seen this song and dance with the Warriors? Like, you go up 20 and you start shooting threes, they're gonna get back in that game, and you're gonna lose that game. Like, as soon as they started pulling jumpers from like outside, I was like, dude, just take the fucking layup. Like, what are y'all doing? Anyway. I mean, initial one was Mavs. I'm going to have to pick Golden State because I don't want to be wrong twice. Yeah. Golden State. On the Eastern Conference, I'm going to go with the Heat. Right. I know that the Celtics are the favorite, probably just because of how great their defense is. But as a native Houstonian, I want to ride with Jimmy Buckets from Tomball, Texas. I want him to get back to the finals because I think the Heat have a decent shot if they play the Warriors. I think the Celtics would probably beat the Warriors, but I don't know. Well, that one would probably be the best series. But I'm going to go Heat over Warriors in the finals. Finals MVP, Jimmy Buckets, baby. Tomball, Texas. And it will be in 7 games. It will not be in anything less than that. I think it'll go 7. And I want to say that the finals will redeem the last 2 rounds of playoffs. I'm hoping.
All right. I feel like I'm kind of taking a cop out here. I feel like everybody's going to be making this pick, but I'm unfortunately going with the Snakes of Oakland to win their first title since 2015.
Petty alert. Petty alert. Petty alert.
I think Steph Curry finally wins Finals MVP, and I think it'll be in 6 games over the Celtics.
Nice.
I think they would close it out in Oakland in that scenario. Yeah, because the Eastern Conference team, no matter who it is going to have. I think they would have home court.
Yeah, they're home court.
So yeah, I'm going Warriors in 6 over the Celtics. Steph Curry finally gets that Finals MVP. The Snakes of Oakland finally win since 2015 when they got lucky and the Cavs team got injured.
Yeah. And I think that's a good prediction just because I think that the Warriors themselves know that this might be their window is this year.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of injuries that they've lucked into, namely John Morant. But, not having to face Phoenix, just having to face Luka and some ragtag bench role players that's the easiest conference finals you can ask for a team that's as battle tested as the Warriors. So they have really no excuse to go out there and win it. I personally hope they lose, just because I hope they lose. I'm glad they're good. I'm glad they're proving it without King Snake. We haven't mentioned him all episode, so I had to steer that conversation in a way that we could make him, bring him back.
Yeah, he's at home. He got swept.
Yeah, we glazed over that sweep too easily. Like we did not give him enough shit or Kyrie. We'll come back to that, but
Pretty boys versus the petty boys.
I think it'll be exciting for Golden State fans because they'll finally have what they need to do what they do, and that's be annoying and talk about these rings. And Steph will have 4, which is unfortunate for LeBron fans.
Yeah,
but
it's really 2.
Yeah,
so.
it's 2. Everyone knows it's 2.
Yeah,
but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we have made it to What You Feeling. I'll go first here. I am feeling the new Kendrick Lamar album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and especially the new Harry Styles, a.k.a. Harold Hitmaker album, titled Harry's House.
That is excellent.
Big fan of that album. Yeah, that's all he does, so it's appropriate.
No lies heard.
What are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling... I moved cities since the last time we spoke.
Damn.
So
yes, you did.
I moved from Houston, Texas, long-time Houstonian. I moved to Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas, tech hub, whatever. My girlfriend got a job, and we're just like, let's go. So now we live in Austin. New experiences. We're about a month in. So digging it so far. Haven't been doing a lot other than starting new jobs and getting settled in this new town, but looking forward to, going to some shows in this very music heavy city. We saw Sigur Rós last night. And I saw Turnstile like 2 weeks ago. So let's go.
Shout out Turnstile.
Let's go.
Album of the year last year.
So that is what I'm feeling.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm pumped for you.
Yeah.
This big new beginnings, excited new beginnings.
Yeah, big new beginning for sure.
Well deserved.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. We love to hear it. Okay. You number one podcast listeners, you know what that means? Let's hit that Too Much Sense intro. All right. You know how I like to end each episode. It's Too Much Sense, advice you didn't ask for, but I'm going to give you anyway. And I thought that we were talking about it earlier, so I thought it was an appropriate topic for this episode, and that's learning how to apologize. We talked about it with the Josh Donaldson thing. There should be no caveats to your apology. If you're sorry, you're sorry. If you're not, you're not. But there should never need to be a yeah, but in an apology. If you're truly sorry and you're working on actual moving past the situation. I think all too often, for one, we overuse the word sorry. So a lot of times it kind of loses its meaning. So one thing you number one podcast listeners should keep in mind is to make sure that you're using it appropriately. Don't overuse it. Don't be sorry for things that you shouldn't have to be sorry about. I think that's a bad habit we get ourselves into. But along with that is using it the right way and apologizing completely by listening to that other person's concerns and proving that you heard what they had to say. And that's the only way you can move past the situation is if you fully comprehend what you're apologizing for. So along with this is not half-assing an apology, not adding any stipulations to the apology. You either are sorry or not. And I think saying what you mean and meaning what you say is a big part of moving past the situation and actually apologizing the right way. So that's my too much sense for today.
For Mr. Josh Donaldson himself.
Yeah, he was the motivator. He was good for one thing today.
He could have used that. That's great advice.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right, you number one podcast listeners, that does it for a brand new edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. I've been your host, Premal Bhatt.
Yes, sir.
For my co-host, Roshan Bhatt. Thank you for joining me, man.
Always, man. It's always fun.
Yes, sir.
Live
from a brand new city.
Live from a brand new city for the first time. My first episode recorded in Austin, Texas. Shout out.
Hell yeah. You number one podcast listeners, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share this episode. I greatly appreciate each of you that do that and support the number one podcast in your headphones. Wouldn't do it without you guys. And I sincerely appreciate it. We will talk to you on the next edition. Peace.